Welcome everybody. I have been itching to do this for a while now. The whole time I was playing Dark Souls 2, I'm like, man, I'm really missing Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is a good game. I even really like Demon Souls quite a lot. For what it was an amazing game. But this, my heart's with this one, guys. I gotta be honest. I really love this one. I really, really do. I love the open, seamless world. Has no loading screens. You can just go from one place to another and open up all these shortcuts, and it's just like a big, I don't know, big rat's maze. Just everything leads to the next thing. Ah, man, I love it. And the enemies and the bosses and the music and just the whole tone and feel of the game. It's just, oh, man. Oh, that's amazing. Anyway, can't say enough about it. All right, so, doing somewhat of a let's play here. Let's just go ahead and just start character creation. Just go on. We'll just make a series out of it, all right? For as long as this lasts. Hope some of you guys enjoy this. Now, heads up right here, for anyone who doesn't know this, there are a couple classes here that start with an extra point. Essentially start with an entire extra level, all right? I believe one is the Wanderer, and then you have the Pyromancer, and I think maybe the Cleric. I don't remember. But anyway, how you can tell is essentially the characters that start with a 12 resistance. Most of them will start with 11 or less. I think the Sorcerer starts with like 8 resistance or something like that. Resistance is essentially overall just a defense stat, right? And it's something that most players don't put any points into until they get up into the hundreds of levels. You know, somebody who's trying to max level, well, sure. But most players don't put any points into that. All right, but the Pyromancer and like I said, I think the Wanderer start with an extra point. So, in other words, at level 5, I will have one more point than another character at level 5, like, say, a Thief. If you add the points up, I will have one more. Or even more. Maybe even 2 or 3 more points than some of the other classes, right? That's not the sole reason I'm starting with a Pyromancer. Why I'm doing this is because the stats that I know I'm going to raise, specifically for the build that I have already planned ahead for, all right, the Pyromancer will allow me to reach all of those stats at a lower level than any other class, all right? If I was going for miracles or something, perhaps I might start a Cleric or maybe even a Wanderer or something, depending on what weapon I was going to use to see what stats I needed. And then am I going to raise the damage of that weapon by buffing that particular stat that it needs, say like Dexterity or Strength, or am I going to stay min stat, say as if the sword requires, for example, I'm going to use a sword that requires 16 Strength and 10 Dex, like the one I'm going to be using actually, all right? If I'm going to stay at a minimum of 16 and 10, then am I going to enchant that sword and then stay at a lower level? Because once you get way up into level, you really want to build up the stat that affects that weapon, that scales with that weapon, all right, to get the damage over what you might get by putting simple lightning and fire on it. And don't let it deceive you when it says, say, fire damage, 200 base and 200 fire damage. When you split damage like that, the enemy's defense, for the most part, basically count twice against your weapon. Their base defense and then their fire defense also, and you may wind up doing less damage with that weapon overall than you would with a weapon that has one specific type of damage only to be accounted for. All right? How that works, the numbers crunch really, really well in combat in this game. Not just as far as damage goes, but then you have, stamina and poise and all these other things that need to be factored in. All right, so really cool about that. But anyway, for lower levels, a say lightning or fire enchanted weapon is great. But once you get much higher, then you might want to consider working on the actual stats that apply to that weapon as opposed to. All right, and then different weapons will scale differently. Some are best just left as a base weapon and then you put an enchantment on them. Or buff them with something like, I don't know, like, what is it, Dark Moon Blade or Sunlight Blade or whatever, or Pine Resin or something, okay? Let's see. All right, so what I'm going to do here on this build is, I'm sitting here doing my character creation, going into all these sub-menus, right, to get my character looking just the way I want. I'm going to be doing a Moonlight Greatsword build, which means I will be primarily stacking points in Endurance and Magic. You need a minimum of 28 Magic to use the sword, alright, so I'll probably get mine to, I believe, about 32-ish, maybe a little bit more, right? Get my Endurance up in the 30s, to the point where with the Ring of Favor, I can still fast roll, and then if I use the Flippy Ring, the Dark Wood Grain Ring, Then I can run around doing ninja flips and get a few extra invincibility frames in my rolls. Alright, and recover faster, should I get hit. Or I'll go with the, maybe the, what is it, the Dragon Crest Ring, Billowing Dragon Crest Ring, I think it's called, where your magic does a crap ton of extra damage and it works for your pyromancies. Alright, and I'll also be wearing the Crown of Dusk, alright, which makes me a little more susceptible to magic, but makes my pyromancies just that much more effective. If you stack that ring and the Crown of Dusk, your fire storms or your fire tempests and your great combustions do such ridiculous damage. It's sometimes it almost seems broken. Not much range, and the firestorms get off really, really slowly, so you have to be careful with them. But they're potent. They're stout. All right, and let's see. I'll probably be wearing the Black Sorcerer's top. All right, and probably the what are they called? The Black Steel gauntlets. I think you get them in the chapel in Anor Londo, downstairs, after you cross over the rafters and come back down the bottom. Anyway, I think that's where you get those, and that will give me a poise of over 21. 21 is the poise break point for, I believe, a one-handed weapon. One-handed, all right, so I can take the first poke without getting affected and give me time to roll away. I'm not going to be taking any hits from, say, like two-handed swords and ultra great swords, though. All right, if I want to do that, I have to get up into anywhere from the 50s to the 70s in poise, and to do that, I have to wear a weight of equipment that's going to require me to either wear Havel's Ring or just dump so many points into endurance that I have to exceed my kind of unwritten level cap. Level cap for this build is 69. I thought that's a cool number. I can go a little higher if you want to sink a little more into vitality, should you like this build and think it, looks and plays cool. But we'll see. We'll give it a spin, and I like it. And that's good for me. I like it.
The world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights.
I think that's the blacksmith by the moonlight butterfly?
And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark side brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Well, that was pretty unceremonious. Alright, thus it begins. I really like that beginning. Okay. Maybe they set the bar too high with this one. That's pretty awesome. Hear the second Asylum Demon over there stomping in that room. We'll be back to visit him later. Not looking forward to that. He's never been one of my favorites. One thing I'm going to love about this build is a nice, healthy stamina pool. Yes. Almost maxed. Almost. Alright, been a long time since I've been here, but I think I pretty much remember it. I'm not sitting here thinking to myself, oh shit, where do I go next? I'm pretty familiar with this. I know this game pretty well. I think I spent a lot more time on it than I did in the other Souls games. I like the way the gameplay feels. Not just the rolling, but just everything. Everything about it. I think it's really, really fluid and natural and plays a little faster, I guess. My whole 6 points of damage on a backstab, you like that? For those of you spoiled by the speedrunners, with their amazing capacity to make this game look like it's on easy mode, you know, I mean, literally just running through the game, literally, you know, I'm not going to impress, you know, as far as that goes. I'm going to be getting stuff. I'm going to be getting stuff I know I don't even need, but just because I know it's there.
Oh,
and,
thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid.
For the sake of, I don't know, anyone who doesn't know where it's at, maybe?
My sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family, thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the Undead Asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
Oh, BFF!
Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death.
Okay.
So
Right.
go now.
Okay, thanks, bye.
you.
See you, bro. Well, sucks to be you. Holler at you. Well, that's what I get for talking smack. Alright, well. Alright. One free pyro glove. Let's see if I still remember how to dodge all this stuff. I think I have a better feel for this one than I do for the second one. What a cool little animation. I think axes and clubs and hammers and maces and things of that nature have the coolest parry. Or counter parries or whatever you want to call them. They have the best counters in the game. Coolest looking ones anyway. Alright. Nice badonkadonk there, bro. Alright, with my little wood chopping axe. And stay down. Alright, so, that's it. The ever-popular Asylum Demon, at least round one. Second one is not such a pushover. Alright, there are a couple things out here. It's too bad I don't have a whole pocket full of moss, or I could go trade with Snuggly, whose little nest is out there on that ledge. I've died there a few times. Trying to back out of my menu, I just back off the edge of the cliff while I'm trying to trade with him on his little nest. A little different on this one. To trade with him, you literally have to quit the game each time you drop an item and come back in, and whatever he trades you will be there. It's a little tedious, especially if you have 15 or 20 different things.
In the ancient legends, it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen.
I'm just looking at him like, really?
To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Come on, man, this is awesome, guys. Look at that sky. I was actually really impressed with that. That's one of the better skies I've seen in games. Still, to this day, one of the better skies. Really like the way they did it. Alright, get unceremoniously dropped off by the big raven, eagle, crow dude, whatever he is. I think that's Snuggly's mama or something. Snuggly the crow is the one we will trade with later. We can get back to the asylum we just left. Okay, now 12. Even though this is the only place where I think what you want to call it, really waste points in this build. It's either that or do without a bow for the game. And I really like having a bow for a lot of environmental situations. So sure enough, if this was just a pure PvP build, you know, I would put those 2 points probably in Vitality or something else. But, yeah, I put them in there so I can use a short bow. If I ever need any real range, I can use the Hawk Ring. I think it's called the Hawk Ring. The one that allows your bow to basically target and shoot farther. Which makes a short bow good for anything, regardless of what the range, really.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Firelink. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible. Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance, but I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
And no, I have no idea what that's for.
Oh my.
To this day.
You again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you? Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
Okay, now, in all honesty, I don't really know what effect this covenant has, other than giving you the access to some, miracles here right at the very
Let
beginning.
me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
Well, I think there's a trophy for joining. It's an early trophy or achievement. That's one thing. And then there's a gesture that you can learn.
Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
But, you know, unless you're just collecting all the miracles. You know, honestly, I think you can get every miracle he sells somewhere else anyway. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But whatever. I will join these things as I find them, or as I'm able, or at least point them out. If it's not convenient to join them at a particular time because I'm in the middle of doing something else, maybe, then I'll at least point out, hey, you need to do this to join that type of thing. Quite a few chests down here. In fact, this is the biggest concentrated loot area, I think, in the entire game. Can't think of another place that has, No, I take that back. There is one other place that has 4 chests that are all right next to each other. In fact, maybe 5. In a basement in Anor Londo. I take that back. Alright, so this does a little more damage, and this has a really good poise break, I guess you could say. Especially when you two-hand this thing. And when you want to mess with some skeletons, which I'm about to do down here, it's nice to have this. It makes them a little more manageable, although it swings really slow, so you have to time your stuff. And it doesn't have just a hell of a lot of range, either. See, I'm not doing any just major damage, so, see? There you go, two-handed, and you knock him into pieces. I think that's awesome. Okay, watch when they have that sword right next to their shield. They will parry you, and then counter stab you. Oh, great! Now I woke up the whole neighborhood. All right, well that's just awesome. Okay, how you do this is just not how I'm doing it. Just do it some other way, and that's how you do it. Let's put it that way. Well, apparently those two guys are stuck over there, so that's fine. See, he's popping me for a quarter of my health through my shield. Well, I don't know if you'd call this thing I have here a shield. Really not sure what this thing is. Piece of crap is what it is. So I need to heal. Like, right now. Okay, well that cliff and me are not going to be friends. Wow. Stairs, please. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate that. Suck on that. Whoops. I'm lucky I got a hit off there. I thought I may just been a little out of range. Alright. And they're only worth 50. I mean, you know, really? Okay, that's a little cheap. I think I'm getting underpaid. I think they're working me but not paying me here. A few items to have here. This is where you can get the Zweihander, which I think in Dark Souls is overall for its weight and damage and the low stats. Well, I say low considering it's an ultra great sword. It's the lightest of the ultra great swords. It's essentially a big great sword. But it has tremendous range. Doesn't swing too terribly slow. It's really a beast in this one. Much more so than really ninja flipping, really. Yeah, much more so than Dark Souls 2. This is where the Zweihander got its name. Was in this one because it's nice. It really is nice. No. See, like I said, the range on this thing sucks. I'm glad he didn't follow up on me. Get off me, dude. Not good. Yeah. Well, it's good. I don't have to aggro any of them coming back down from the bonfire. It would have been nice to clear that last guy out and go on about my business, but I lose nothing. I don't get my humanity back for a while. I don't know when I'll become human again. I might want to summon somebody for the gargoyles, maybe, or something. I can solo a lot of these bosses, but I'll summon people when I can. If it's just really not convenient to become human, or whatever, then whatever. But co-op is fun in this to me. I like fighting the bosses with people, whether I have to or not. Now, I may kill the boss by myself for myself, and then turn around and help, 10 or 12 other people, because I don't think there's a boss here, in this game, at some point, that somebody doesn't struggle with. That somebody isn't looking for help on. What you may find just easy as pie, the next guy has died 50,000 times, is completely out of humanity, is totally at the end of his rope, and is just saying, screw this, I'm about to just rage quit the entire game altogether. And you can go in and help them, and they really appreciate it, and you encourage them to keep playing. Anyway, let me catch you guys on the next one. All right, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. All right, y'all take it easy. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. To watch some more smackdown of our enemies, click on the top box. Go to my channel playlist and browse other game vids. Click on the bottom one. And if you like my videos, mash on the subscribe button up top and leave a comment. All right, thanks again. I'll catch you on the next one.